how much money you make by saving into Bitcoin instead of buying lottery tickets, drinks, and other things you don't need. So we're gonna look at the average um, people, what they do with their money, and compare that to compared to how much money they would make just by saving into Bitcoin instead over the long term. So me personally, I have my neighbor who likes buying lottery tickets, and sometimes she even sent me to go buy for her. And the first time she sent me, and I didn't know how to buy it, so I had to get the instruction written on a piece of paper so I can purchase it for her. And in average, people buy about $20 a week of lottery tickets. So let's look at this over here, and the chances, right? The chances the chance of you crash of getting crushed by falling plane parts, right, is 1 out of 1 million, and the chance of you winning US Mega Million jackpot is 1 out of 258 million. So that's crazy. Think about how like unlikely it is for you for airplane to crash and then for a piece of that airplane to fall onto you to kill you, and to compare to the probability that you win, like that's vastly um large. Like it's almost impossible for a jackpot. Not not impossible, but it's really difficult, really hard. So compared to airplane, and then let's look at, yeah, despite the terrible odds of winning money through the lottery, people in financial trouble think the lottery is the only way to accumulate money. So it's out of a place of, desperate, right? A lot of people are desperate, and especially if you poor, if you just fighting for survival, and you're more likely to think about, hey, I'm gonna, try my luck into this, and I don't care how long it takes, but I'm trying. Oh, one day I think I'm gonna win. Uh, for sure, I'm gonna win. So that's the mindset. It's like, I don't have a lot of money, but if I try this, maybe one day I can win, and my luck, I can have that luck finally to get rich. So that's the ideology behind this, and I don't judge anybody for this. But now we're gonna calculate. Let's say if you would have to spend, for example, $20 into Bitcoin, right? In um, every week, for example, for the last 9 years, you would be spending about 9,400. Okay, so that's a green line down there, right? So that's a saving into that's a spending into the Bitcoin, and then you would be accumulating about 232,000 worth of Bitcoin. So you would have a percentage increase of 3,369, um 200,000 bucks, right? 230,000 bucks. So that's not too bad compared to your $9,000, right? Um Now, let's say you also spend in other things. Let's say you spend in drinks, right? You like to have a beer, and nothing wrong with having a beer, but let's say you would have to take that money. For example, let's look on average how much people spend. Let's say if you drink 3 drinks a day, five days a week, at an average of $10 per drink, you're spending about 150 per week. and then you spending about 650 per month, about 7,000 a year. So let's say instead of $10 per day, let's say instead of $10 per drink, let's say we do only um let's say you take out $10, you take out $20 out of that $50, 150 a week. You only spend for 130 on drinks, and then you take that $20, you put it into Bitcoin, right? So now we're gonna go back, we're gonna add that uh, $20 of drinking on top of that lottery dollar you would have to spend. So you're gonna have 40 now, right? So that would be $40 a week, right? So we don't again, we don't have to take all of it, right? You can still have your drink, right? We just take like some a little bit of from that money to Bitcoin, to put it into Bitcoin instead of drinking, instead of lottery. Again, we don't have to take all your lottery money. Just take a little bit of it, right? And then put it into Bitcoin. You can still, play your luck, right? Sometimes it's very addictive and it's hard to get out, right? Same for drinking, right? But we don't have to, completely collapse your habit and destroy your hobbies. But we just wanna just take a little bit from that, right? So, and then you have spending. You like spending. You like to show people, oh, I own this. I got this from Amazon. I had this. You like to do those things, but now, we don't want to take all the money, right? We're just gonna take $20, right, off that money a week, right? Just $20. So we're gonna take that $20. Now that 40 becomes 60. Okay, so that's $60. So those are again money that you already spending, because most people I ask where they don't the way they don't save in Bitcoin is because they say, "Oh, I don't have money." Right? They're like, "Oh no, I don't have money to buy Bitcoin." But you're already spending overspending in things you don't really need. Those are not like things that are like extremely necessary. You could take some of from those money. For example, your phone bill. Some people pay too much for like a phone bill, right? I would say. I mean, you could get a better deal with a different company. You could get like even, for example, things you spend for food you don't eat, like eat out and things like that. Can you find ways to save from those areas, right? So this is just that we're doing, and over here we have $60, right? We're trying to manage to get out $60 a week, right? On over 9 years. So we do started in like 9 years, for 9 years, right? And then we accumulate that for 9 years, and then now at the end you would be getting almost 700,000, right? Almost 700,000, and you would be spending only 30,000, about 28,000, or let's say 30,000. You would be getting 690,000. Now we'll say, oh well, that's not a lot. Well, that that's quite a bit, right? That's quite a bit because when you look at it like that 700,000, right, if you leave it there for let's say a couple years, that can double, that can give you over 1 million, right? So if you get to over $1 million, right, that's a lot, like for some people that's a lot of money, and some people can even retire on that, right? Because your goal, right, to win the lottery, is, hopefully, you retire, you don't have to work as much, right? And most people win the lottery ticket. If you go there, most people who win the lottery ticket, they don't keep the money. They don't get to keep the money, right? Most of those people, they make less than 10,000, or maybe it's slightly higher, and so they spend about over 1,000 a year, right, on the lottery, and so they just want to replace that, working wage to that lottery. And when they win, actually, what they do, they don't they spend the money on things that are like like things they never needed, and they just waste it all. And after a couple years, they go back to square one, right? So, but when you do that in Bitcoin, you get to see the value, right? Over the years, you get to see, you get to feel, see your money growing and ups and downs, and you get to like understand all the sacrifices you're making, right? Let's say we could have bought like all the alcohol, but you didn't, just to save in the Bitcoin, right? So because of this sacrifice, right, you're not gonna have the same delusional, the willingness to just waste it all if you win in the lottery, because it's not free money, right? Because it's not that you don't look at it as a free money, you look at it as something like you work hard for, right? So because of that, you will have more hard time to waste it all. So this money would last you way way longer over time, instead of just lose it all in couple years. So this is it here, guys. So anybody you wanna you know try to get to buy some Bitcoin, have this approach to them. Ask them if they can, rationalize in some areas in their life, not to cut it all. You don't need to cut all your alcohol. You don't need to cut all your, partying habit and all those things. You can simply just do less, right? Buy less, spend less, right? And then just take the rest and put into Bitcoin and see the gradual move, and then look and then experience the building of wealth, right? The experience what it is like to build wealth over time, instead of trying to get rich in one day. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it there. I hope you guys enjoy. This was PieCover.